You know, skincare is an act of love. It's an act of love for yourself. It's an act of respect for yourself, for your body.
How did you become a journalist, an author? Was that always a passion, or did you get into it?
I guess, like a lot of things in life, accidental, but perhaps preordained. I actually started in finance. That's what I studied. Born and bred in London, but I come from a Nigerian family who take real pride in education. Of that generation, it was very sort of limited to, you know, you're either a doctor or an accountant or a lawyer, nothing else matters. But I'd always loved words, reading and writing and books. But I also loved magazines and I loved the fashion world and so on. But I started with business and I graduated in finance. I was a part qualified accountant when I left university. I can't balance a balance sheet, so yeah. But anyway, so I just had this thing in me where I was just like, I really want to see how it is working on a publication. I want to work in magazines. It was a little bit of a risk because I started right at the bottom. But I said to myself, I would rather try than get to a certain age and kick myself for never trying. I was never interested in beauty pages in magazines or newspapers because they never spoke to me. As a black woman, I wasn't really represented in those pages. When I left my initial role on a fashion magazine and I went freelance, and people started asking me to write about beauty. And I was being asked to write about beauty for darker skin tones. In many ways, I continued doing that almost as a sort of political act, almost as an act of rebellion and as a sort of rallying cry to the industry.
And when did you write the book Palette?
It came out in 2019. I'd never set out to write a beauty book. A lot of people might look at it as something quite superficial, but it really isn't. I would always have women who would stop me, sometimes in the street, to ask me what I'd use on my skin. I would have that happen time and time again, women of colour always coming to me. And I thought to myself, there's something missing here. And really, that was the inspiration behind the book. I really wanted to deliver something to all these incredible human beings who felt that they were left out of the beauty conversation. I also wanted it to be a message to the industry. So now people say, oh, you're going to write another beauty book? Probably not, unless there's something else that I feel enraged about, and then I'll write it.
I don't do products just because I think we need a new product for marketing. So that's the same. It's really behind each of our products, there's a reason and a need.
One of the things I really love about you and your brand, it's incredibly thoughtful. You don't follow what is going on in the market. It's really authentic to you, and I love that.
Now, as a beauty journalist, of course, there's a lot you have to test, and you have a huge wisdom of skincare and products. But what was the first time you really started using skincare? How did you tap into your routines?
I was always interested in skincare. I think that probably did come partly from my mother, and I was always really intrigued by what is this hope that people think exists within this jar, you know, what is it? I was curious. When I got to my teens, I started getting a lot of breakouts, and that was really, really, really difficult. Couldn't find very much on the market that really worked. Everything was very harsh. Or even then, I just thought, goodness me, we treat our skin almost like the enemy. Around that time was when I really started to deal a lot with skincare because I was looking for solutions. But I never thought about it in terms of this could potentially be something that I would be doing as a career.
May I ask you, you grew up in London?
I did.
Okay.
So I was born in London, but then for a few years we moved to Nigeria.
But I think there are also quite beauty rituals in Nigeria, no, with oils and I read about it, no?
Yes. Well, what's really interesting is that things that are so ingrained in your culture, you just take it for granted. Body care became this thing, you know, it's body care. In my culture, body care has never been a thing. It's something that from birth, you always exfoliate your body. You always moisturize your skin. You know, skin is skin. You look after everything in the same sort of way.
That exactly is my philosophy. It was always very important for me that we treat our skin as one.
Just respecting your skin regardless of where it is, you know. So yeah.
So that means that you have a quite good morning, evening ritual for your skincare.
I've had a morning, evening routine for skincare probably since in my early teens. If that's the only thing I do, that's the only thing I do. I have to have my routine in the evening and, you know, and cleanse my skin and so on. It's much more than just getting the grime off your face after a long day. It kind of just takes the evening down to a sort of different sort of level. It's become a ritual for me, absolutely.
If you would say there's but one product you would take to an island,
Oh,
if you could
gosh.
choose from
Oh,
one
I know.
beauty product,
I'll take SPF.
totally agree
Yes.
about SPF.
Yes.
I probably would take my eye cream and sit in a cave to protect against the sun. Your skin, anyway, it's really amazing. I can
Oh, thank
understand
you.
why people approach you telling you what do you use, because it's
Thank you. I look back to when I was that 14-year-old who was really struggling with her skin, and I never in a million years thought anyone would ever turn around to me and say, your skin looks nice.
as a beauty editor, you have so many brands, so many products on your desk. So what would you love to see more in the beauty industry, in the skincare industry?
A lot of things that are launched that I think actually don't need to exist at all. But we need to all be much more kind of discerning about it. And I think brands need to be more respectful of consumers and not just launch things just for the sake of it. What is beautifully formulated? What is brilliant?
Yeah, or what is there for 20 years,
Yes,
or 10 years,
exactly.
and
It's still good.
Yeah,
Exactly. Stands the test of time.
It's all about not wasting our resources. I believe, for example, for us, that it's so important that you have a high quality product, that people really want to use it till the end.
Exactly.
I could talk another hour
Yes.
with you. Thank you so much.